I will tell you a couple of things about how media relate to migration. And we often, I mean, we've heard it even this morning, here that the European Union is not living up to its standards. But let's not forget that the people that are in government in the European Union have been elected. They're not been chosen. So we need to make a step back to educating the people that actually go to the polls. Because if you vote for a extremely conservative, and this is a euphemism, government, you cannot be surprised if whether they build these walls you are referring to, or they talk about barriers in the Mediterranean Sea. So education is not part of the media mission, but there is a part of what we do, which is educating people. And how do we do that? I mean, I am lucky that I work for a news agency that has no political orientation. My former chief editor, Sergio Lepri, one of the greatest journalists of post-war Italy, when he was hiring you, he would say, I don't want to know how you think politically, and I don't want to find out from what you write. And I think that's a lesson we should all keep in mind. So I strongly believe, after almost 40 years in this profession, that telling reality is the most revolutionary act you can possibly do. And telling reality means you have to master, for instance, the words you use, because the educating on migration also passes through the choice. We use the word narrative, but I think it goes down to single words. ANSA, I am proud to say, was one of the first media in Italy, if not the first, that changed the way we refer to migrants. It was clandestini or immigrati, which in Italian, if you don't speak Italian, has a very negative connotation. Which we switched to migranti, which is neutral, and it's like internationally accepted definition. So this seems like a small thing, but if you start doing that, well, we have that kind of influence, in fact. All the newspapers in Italy and the TV program starts using migrants, migranti, finally. And so we were lucky, not lucky, I mean, like we were doing an intense work on these migration subjects. We covered extensively, starting from the 90s, when the migration crisis started with the arrival of thousands of Albanian migrants pushed out by the turmoil in the country. And ever since, we've been following, with the initial landings on Lampedusa. I remember visiting Lampedusa in the early days when a few Tunisian migrants would arrive, and some of them, a carabiniere fellow that was on the island, said to me, one of them asked me where the train to Germany was. And so this was the mental condition, the desperation of some of these early migrants, and this is even much worse now, in fact. So ANSA, thanks to this work, I would imagine, on migration, has been included in this European cooperation project, which I think is a very virtuous, successful example of European cooperation, called InfoMigrants. If you're not familiar with it, we have a friend from Open Arms that knows what we do. I mean, we exchange a lot of information and stories. And InfoMigrants is a collective effort by three major European media. It's ANSA, Deutsche Welle, and France Media Monde. What we do is a site in several languages that informs not on the migrants, but the migrants. So we present challenges, risks, dangers of trying to cross the sea, but not just the sea, I mean even the land frontiers. And so we try to inform the migrants, and I can say that this effort, especially on social media, has been incredibly successful. We have over 1 million followers on several social media, and this is an incredible result. I mean, we've been active for 5 or 6 years now. So InfoMigrants is supported by the European Commission, so that's a positive effort from Europe. Although, I mean, obviously we do not hide to the migrants the dangers that there are in trying to leave your country, pass through a transition country. I mean, we all know what's going on in Libya, which is not a destination country, but a place where migrants transit in order to get to the Mediterranean shores. And so I go back to what I was saying in the beginning. There's nothing more revolutionary than telling the reality, not only to the European citizens. They have to know these are not numbers, because one of the things we do at ANSA with Info-Migrants is telling stories. Tragic stories, success stories, integration stories, emargination stories. I mean, we have to tell reality. Our mission is to tell what's going on, and we try to do it at the best of our possibilities. So, but also to inform the migrants that this is not the land of milk and honey. There will be hostility, there will be difficulties in entering the healthcare system or the school system for children and all of that. This all being said, I think that everything starts from saving lives. And I commend all the humanitarian organizations that do this, because without that, integration does not exist. All the rest of the dialogue is nonsense, is empty. And so whenever I hear, this is as a human being, not as a journalist, talking about barriers and ships blocking these dinghies and creepy little boats that cross the sea, I think this is a huge mistake, because without saving lives, not only we do something which is incredibly wrong, but we get worse ourselves. And we should also think about that. Thank you.